All right, welcome back. Today we're diving into someone truly legendary, Elvis Presley, and specifically his legacy right now in 2025.
Yeah, we've looked at quite a bit of material, and the goal really is to figure out, why does he still matter so much? And crucially, what the sources say you can do to help keep that legacy intact.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how someone from that era is still such a huge cultural force,
Yeah.
not just history.
hmm And the sources really break down why. So maybe let's start there. Why does Elvis still capture so much attention?
Okay, well, the sources really hit on his unique way of blending sounds. It's
Exactly.
pretty revolutionary.
Absolutely. Taking things like, gospel, the blues, country music,
Yeah.
and forging them into something totally new, that early rock and roll sound.
He basically defined it for a generation. It wasn't just mixing genres, it was like creating a new musical language.
Right. And in doing that, the material suggests he was also maybe implicitly pushing back against some of the racial and genre boundaries in music at the time.
That's a huge point. But his influence went way beyond just the records, didn't it?
Oh, definitely. The sources really stress the global impact. His charisma, the look, the movies, it all projected him onto this massive worldwide stage.
Creating this fan base that's just multi-generational now, all over the world.
Exactly. And there was another layer the sources touched on, his personal legacy, beyond the stage persona.
Yeah, things like his generosity, which was apparently quite well documented,
Mm.
moments of humility too, and that sort of spiritual searching later on.
hmm It paints a picture of more than just an entertainer. For many, he's a symbol maybe of the American dream, that transformation from, humble roots to superstardom.
So it's this massive, complex legacy, deeply woven into culture. But the sources also warned about threats it's facing, especially now.
I certainly did. A major theme was the fight against misinformation. It's constant.
Like what specifically?
Well, you've got the conspiracy theories, some of which just never seem to fade, distorted portrayals in unofficial bios or documentaries, even fake quotes being passed around online.
Ugh, yeah. Stuff presented as fact that just isn't. It muddies the waters.
Totally. And tied into that is the whole issue of bootlegs and unauthorized use that the sources brought up.
Right. That's not just about, like, dodgy MP3s, is it?
No, it causes real copyright problems for the estate, for Elvis Presley Enterprises. Plus, it floods the market with low-quality releases, and you get all this misleading content online that kind of dilutes his actual work.
And then there was that other challenge, maybe more subtle, the generational thing.
Yeah, the generational disconnect. The sources flagged this idea of the TikTokification of history, which is a catchy phrase for it.
Their name.
Meaning newer generations might only encounter Elvis through like super short clips, decontextualized snippets.
Yeah.
His huge groundbreaking impact gets boiled down and you lose the historical weight of it all.
That's a really tricky one. How do you convey that depth so quickly? So, okay, given these threats, the misinformation, the bootlegs, this context issue, what did the sources suggest people listening can actually do?
Thankfully, the material offered some pretty concrete actions. First off, support the official channels. Elvis Presley Enterprises, EPC.
Okay, wow.
Buying official albums, maybe visiting Graceland if you can, streaming the licensed music and movies. That support directly helps their preservation work.
Makes sense. Put your energy, your money towards the authentic source. What else?
Educate others
Yeah.
gently. If you see false info online or hear myths being repeated, share accurate stuff. Point people towards reliable books, good documentaries, verified interviews. Be a source of good information.
I like that. Taking an active role in correcting the narrative. The sources also mentioned something about contributing history.
Yes. That was interesting. If you or someone you know has a personal story, maybe they met him, saw a concert, have family memories, the suggestion was to record these, share them with archives or dedicated fan forums that collect history.
Adding that personal texture, that's valuable.
Invaluable. And finally, just stay connected, stay engaged with the fan community.
How so?
Participating in things like Elvis Week, if that's your thing, or joining local clubs, even supporting fan creators who are respectful and add real value. Community keeps the passion and the accuracy alive.
Okay, so it really is a shared responsibility then.
Yeah.
Protecting this legacy isn't just up to the estate.
Exactly. The sources make it clear. Preservation is active. It requires participation from those who care.
This has been really enlightening. Understanding not just why Elvis still matters, but the active role needed to protect that truth.
That's an ongoing effort, for sure.
So, Thinking about all these challenges we've discussed, the misinformation flood, history getting chopped into tiny, context-free bits online. Here's a final thought. What does this whole effort to preserve Elvis's real story tell us about the bigger challenge of keeping any historical figure's narrative accurate and meaningful in today's digital age? Something for you to think about.